When we met, where were you in business and your personal life? I think business, I was definitely trending upwards, but a little bit of, I'd say just without trajectory, right? I was moving forward, but it was kind of all over the place. And I think lacked direction, but definitely did not really understand myself, right? I felt kind of blind by the fact that I was running this business, but didn't know a ton about myself. So the business in a way was kind of just running me. And I was having to pivot to it and things like that. I didn't have a very good personal to business relationship. I didn't know what my strengths and weaknesses were, what some of my blind sides were that I should start to be more aware of, and didn't really have a great understanding as to how that impacted the business. So yeah, ultimately that's kind of where I was when we first met. Up and coming entrepreneur, had lots of confidence, but was kind of just all over the place and didn't really understand the full picture of what I was getting into and how my personal self played into that. If we did not work together, where do you think you would be now? Honestly, I think I'd probably be headed in the same direction. I'd probably be moving in the same direction. But the biggest thing that I think I got out of working with you was just the raw benefit of I was able to speed up that process and become hyper aware of who I am, what I was kind of not set out to do, but better understanding of myself and how that played a role in the business. I think I'd probably be at the same boat if I would have never worked with you, but it probably would have taken me 3, 4, 5, 6 years longer. You really helped me speed up how quickly I could get to that, quote unquote desired outcome while just helping me better understand myself as well. So that's only on the business side. I think personally, I really still would have been just this kid with a lot of confidence. I had a cool business, but couldn't really put all the pieces together and have a great understanding as to why I did what I did, how I function, and things like that. So really the overarching theme I have here is that I bet I still would have been kind of stumbling around the same direction and working in the same direction and getting the same work done. I don't know if it would have been as impactful as now after working with you, right? I think I would have just kind of stumbled around and probably figured it out on my own over the course of time. But I think your help really helped me speed that up, get more clarity, and really have a great understanding as to what I was getting involved with. Where are you now since we have been working together? The business, since we started working together to now, has quadrupled in size, at least tripled in size, far more employees and things like that. But one of the things that always made me worried was just my ability to lead people and my understanding of how to lead them. But first, the understanding I had of myself, and all of that has really just been taken care of after working with you, in the sense of I feel confident in myself. I know who I am. I have a better understanding of how to lead and what some of my blind spots are, so I can, kind of cater to those as they pop up, in day-to-day work. But yeah, the business is doing great. And then personally, I'm doing great as well. And one of the biggest things we worked on was just the development of relationships and having a little bit of a mental block of the long-term side of those and feedback. And both of those things, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a pro at, but heading in a direction to where they're not necessarily pitfalls of myself either, that I feel really comfortable either building a long-term relationship or, receiving feedback and knowing that it's not necessarily going to take me down a rabbit hole or take me down a wrong direction. If you saw your old self or someone that is in your shoes, what would you tell them and why? If this is catered to what would I tell them and why if they're considering your services, to do it, I think is probably the main thing. I think one of the biggest things, right, is that life changes fast. So you're going to have your ups and downs and all arounds and things like that. But the one thing that is not going to change is a true understanding of who you are, as a person, what you function, what drives you to get work done day in and day out, what motivates you to be successful, things of that nature. I think that stuff is inherent to whatever job or whatever thing you're doing. Those things are always going to come with. So I'd probably tell myself to just dive deeper and learn about those items and those things. Reason being is because, at the end of the day, like I said, that never changes, right? It could depend on jobs and things like that, but you're always going to have a good understanding of yourself if you're going into different jobs. That being said, that's really, I think what I tell myself, if I could go back and meet myself in my old shoes, is to really just, focus on better understanding yourself. I'm learning that a lot of the other business type successes come after you have a really good understanding of who you are and how you function. So, if anything, it would just be a nice reminder to say, hey, prioritize understanding yourself and how you function so that you can have a more successful business or, see more of those business successes down the line.